It's your boy Concert Viz 34, and I've been off from the recording for a little bit. Not much things that have intrigued me to talk about, but I will have some things on the way very, very soon. One big announcement, I am now on Instagram. Follow your boy Concert Viz 34 on Instagram. The page is looking very thin right now. A couple of my jams to different music loops that I've done on my guitar, pedal board, and amp. And then, but that's it. But once I get to the concerts later this year, early next year, I'll be having some more photos on the gram. Follow me on Twitter at ConcertViz34. A lot more insight to day-to-day things with DMB, other music as well. As far as what I'm planning, I will have a review of Mohegan Sun. I'll be there next Sunday. Typical DMB, my guy. I gotta message you after this because we gotta definitely meet up and link up for that show. I will be going to Maxwell for anyone who's here because of J. Cole or Earth, Wind, and Fire videos and reviews I've done. I'm going to Maxwell December 7th out there in Wallingford, Connecticut. So that's another thing that I'll be doing. And also, I have coming up as well, I've been binge listening to Rush. I have listened to a lot of their catalog already, pretty much every song, just some deep cuts I haven't. But I've been binge listening through just like people watch Netflix shows. And as I'm driving to work, as I'm running errands, doing things during the holidays, I have been listening through their whole catalog. I'm going to have some videos of part 1 and part 2 on that as well. But today, I just want to give some new things here with some of the things I've noticed since I released my first video about Dave Matthews Band and their struggles to sell out this current tour. Thank you for everyone who's commented. I've gotten a lot of feedback, and it has been one of my higher viewed videos in recent months here. And I appreciate people that agree, that disagree, that have different angles of this. There's no right answer per se, although some opinions just are just, you know, they don't make sense to me. They probably never will, but that's your opinion. Patrick, with the thumbs up on the comments. Sorry about Big Blue. I know Ohio State did beat you guys yesterday, but hey, at least you're not a UConn fan like me. We have one win versus URI. We lost to UMass. We got scraped in our conference, no conference win, so it could be worse. But I want to talk about a couple things, a couple comments that I've seen recently, give my take on them. And this is really in this aftermath of people realizing, hey, DMB did not really sell out a lot of these shows. First thing that I saw was people saying, well, you know, Dave Matthews Band in 2018 just can't sell out arenas. It's the time of the year. They just can't sell out arenas. I believe this is false. My thing is DMB, after going on a full summer tour, relieving the anxiety of fans who hadn't seen them from 2016 as a full band, or 2017 as a full band, they got their date fixed during the summer, and they're not going to come back to an arena, especially if they live in the West Coast, the Midwest, or it's not a convenient drive. Some of the diehards are there, but to fill up that arena, they have to create demand by doing less shows. I think that if DMB had a shorter summer tour, or let's say they didn't have a summer tour at all, and they had a fall tour like they have now, nearly every venue would be filled to capacity just because fans would travel. They haven't seen DMB in a while. DMB typically gives you a lot of shows a year, a lot of Dave and Tim and side projects, Rashawn sitting in with people, Jeff Coffin sitting in with different projects as well. The band did their full tour, and now everyone is they've been fed, and people that are greedy, people that are on a high-calorie Michael Phelps diet are going to fill up some of these seats for the fall tour, but not everything. So they're not selling out these venues because they raised the prices, but they also have toured all summer. People aren't going to go out of their way to do that. And the other thing that I've heard is, people still bringing up, hey, everyone misses Boyd. I'm sorry. I know some people just don't feel the same since Boyd left. That's not why tickets are not selling out for the fall tour. It's not because of Boyd. I'll tell you why. Hartford, Connecticut, I did not get confirmed for the warehouse. I had to pay over face value. I was okay with that. I plan to go to these shows. It's a big part of my life. But I had to bite the bullet on StubHub just because you couldn't. There were some things day of, but they were kind of sketchy people on message boards. It wasn't cash or trade really. I saw one, but I already bought a ticket. By the time I saw a cash or trade, Hartford Pavilion seat. Hartford was sold out for the Pavilion. The Deer Creek Pavilion is sold out. I'm sure the lawns were sold out too. SPAC, everything was sold out, except maybe some of the lawns night one. The popular venues for the summer tour were sold out without Boyd. And you know what? Okay, yeah, the tickets were sold before they made an announcement. You didn't really get that many great deals for good seats to these shows. People weren't saying, oh, that's it, I'm selling my tickets for face value. Please, if you were doing that in Hartford, you should have messaged me at ContRaviz34, YouTube, Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. I would have bought them. But you could not find a ticket in Hartford for face value except some people last minute, or if you really jumped quick on someone on the message board when, after the things went on sale. They were still sold out. The crowds were louder this year than 2016 when Boyd was there. The energy was higher without Boyd. And the average fan does not say, I am not going because Boyd's not here. Some of the hardcores will say that. Some of the Boyd lovers that are literally, that was their guy who got him in. For me, who got me into DMB, Dave's guitar and Carter's drumming. I don't care about Boyd as much. I miss him on certain stuff. I don't care about him. But that's just one thing. Boyd, you're not that much of a difference ticket sales wise. Okay? That's not why the arenas are empty. It's because of the pricing. And the thing is, most people, one of the things someone else said is, one of the comments here on DMB Family just recently, I'm looking at the comments, they said in the late 90s and early 2000s, they packed the arenas, no matter the time or place. What this person was trying to say on DMB Family is, yeah, they sold out a lot in the 90s and 2000s for these arena tours, but the pricing is hurting why they can't sell out. I disagree partially with that. The pricing does hurt some people, especially with families, mortgages. We have a lot of issues in our country financially for the average Joe to afford to live where they live now. Across the board, all demographics, all races, and that's a big part of it. A concert ticket is a luxury, or a concert ticket is not worth that $150 when I have all these bills here and I only have a couple times to shoot my shot with a free weekend without kids, or I have only a couple times to shoot my shot where I have these extracurricular activities outside of my job and my family and all my other responsibilities. I'm not going to go see DMB because the prices are expensive and I'm just past that in my life. That's what's really happening. That's why these arenas aren't filling up. The pricing, yes, it has a lot, has some responsibility, but a lot of it is people have just moved on from DMB. Case in point, my boy Pete is taking his stepbrother who got him into DMB, and there was an age gap, so his stepbrother's older than him, so and me and Pete have been going to shows, 2012, 13, 14, 15 together. Pete's been going since his stepbrother got him in the mid-2000s. Long story short, Pete and me still go. We're in our late 20s. His stepbrother's in his 30s or the mid-30s. And he has kids now. He has a wife. And he just doesn't go to shows as much. And he hasn't been to a show in 10 years. But before that, he was hardcore in DMB. He knew everything about DMB. He got my boy Pete into it. Pete taught me the stuff that his stepbrother taught him when we both met in college 10 years ago back in Eastern Connecticut. So the point is, certain people, once they have a family, once they have a wife and kids, they have the money to go. They could hire a babysitter, but they just like, you know what? It's just not, to me, it's not worth it. And we're talking about this at my boy's wedding, Pete's wedding, is his stepbrother. We were talking about the new album, and he liked it. He's been a DMB fan since back in the day, in their prime, and he liked the new album, but he just hasn't really made it a issue to really go out and say, I have to see DMB. And I met Pete's stepbrother at a John Mayer show. So he goes to other shows, but he just, for DMB, he just kind of has been phased out of that part of it. He's phased it out, but now he's going to go back, to the Boston show. And that's very common. I think that's a big thing is people can afford DMB, But do they really want to hire a babysitter to hear the new sound of DMB when they were used to the older sound? Not really. Some people love DMB. They used to go to 60, 70, 80 shows. They were literally following this band around the country like the Deadheads did back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s before Jerry passed. They did that with DMB, but they just kind of grew out of it. They got a job, they got a family, and I think that's underrated. It's not that, oh, I can't afford that ticket. They could buy that ticket whenever. They got, I mean, some of these people have money, but you know, they just, you know, they just don't want to go. Kyle, Come Tomorrow, I agree with that. With when it comes to Come Tomorrow live, some of it is underwhelming, and if you buy tickets to this show, that's another thing too. If you buy tickets to these fall shows, you're going to get Come Tomorrow overload. That happened. I'm going to Mohegan. I remember going to Mohegan for Away from the World 2012. It was Away from the World heavy. A couple of days or shows before that, they played the entire Away from the World, which is awesome because you got to hear the riff and you know, Broken Things, which they decide not to play anymore. Right, let's play Mercy 500 times. But you got a whole new album, and for some people that want to hear the mix of old and new and across the discography, you're going to get a lot of Away from the World. And if you just went this summer, you got a lot of Away from the World. And I liked the comment said, I think it was Kyle, can't think and talk at the same time, but it is underwhelming to have a lot of Come Tomorrow being played. It's a great, to me, I like the studio version, and I like certain tracks in the studio version, but a lot of it doesn't translate well. Come Tomorrow, the song, the title track, beautiful studio version. Some people may not like it. They may not just, a lot of people just don't like the new album, but it doesn't translate live well. I've heard it with Dave and Tim in Hartford, and I've heard it with Dave Matthews Band in Hartford, same venue. It's forgettable to me. That Girl Is You without the Preservation Band Jazz, whatever that thing is, same thing. But one other thing I want to touch on, since I have an ADD and I'll get lost in tangents type mindset, I'm really interested to see the buying and selling, and I'm only on a little bit of Ants Marching now, DMB family, just because I'm on Facebook checking with my real family and I see the posts here and there, and then a little bit of Twitter. I really wonder, I wish there was a way to pull the data of how these sales are going between fans. Because it seems like there are some people that are benefiting from this. All right, I couldn't hire a babysitter. Life changed, life happened. I can't get this day off of work, and I have to give up my tickets. And you have some people that are waiting and sitting on tickets, and there have been some great things, especially Madison Square Garden night one. It's a wonderful mix where some people say, hey, I just want to get to MSG. Other people saying, hey, I can't make both nights, and they're selling their MSG night one tickets. There's been some great deals. But I really feel like this is it's a buyer's market for the most part. There's a lot of people selling tickets. A lot of people selling bad tickets as far as view-wise. But like I've said in the past, shoot, I just want to this tour. I got a bad seat at Mohegan, but top of the rafters at Mohegan. But I just want to get in and just hear the music. I don't care about being close. I've already seen a lot of Come Tomorrow songs. There's going to be a lot of Come Tomorrow. I just want to enjoy this band one last time, but I digress. The issue is, I think a lot of people are just selling trash seats, and they're trying to get face and fees, and you go on StubHub and you can get it for less. And sometimes, yeah, maybe it's, Madison Square Garden, yes. You can sell face and fees, and much of StubHub is still higher than face value for the most part. Some seats, here or there for night one below. Maybe a couple for night two that trickle in that are below. But those are really seats. While I love MSG, I've sat a bunch of different places there. If you're going to make the trip down, pay for the train, pay for parking, pay for a hotel, to pay face for one of the last rows versus being 5 rows up in the upper balcony area, it's kind of a drag. Like, do I really want to pay that amount just to go all the way down there to pay for it? I mean, everything's expensive in New York City. The parking, the food, everything. Do I really want to do all that just to get into the city, to be stressed out with traffic and pay face value? Not really. You got to really lower your ball. And I know, I get it. People have bought these tickets. They want to make what they can back. It was a huge investment. They can't go. But I don't see a lot of people really lowering their standards. Now, it is still, you still have time, and it is MSG night one. But some of these Seville night ones, the MSG night ones, these shows that have nearly sold out, and MSG night one sold out. You know, they released some tickets, but it's technically a sellout. Fans still have to lower their prices. I mean, it's just like you're not seeing a lot of that happen, and I wonder how many of these tickets are being sold. Some of them are. Some people just want to get in, but there are the people that are picky, and I also want to see. So Kyle was at Hartford. Yeah. So just to answer Kyle, he said he was at Hartford. Yeah, Captain, I was going nuts, and I apologize. My video, I was singing over it. The surprises, that's what really makes me go. It just has to be one surprise. Just one surprise of, oh my God, Captain. I was going nuts, and you can see the video, which I butchered. Again, I apologize to the internet. It's a waste of putting it up in some senses. But just something like that. Hearing a Captain, a JTR, the JTR at SPAC Night 2 when I was there, that made the entire night. That made, I know like people they go to SPAC and they want 5 or 6 different like crazy moments. And I was hoping too, but just that song alone made my night. And that's what I think the winter tour doesn't have necessarily. You had a You Never Know in Philly back in 2012. That was awesome. And man, Mohegan Sun, we did have a People tease, but no one really heard it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't hear it. Someone up front probably heard it, but I didn't hear the People tease, and I was there. I was in the upper deck for that one, but those really do matter. But back to the tickets, I'm interested to see, because I think there's going to be a lot of tickets that people are just going to be giving away at the end, or just going, people that can't sell it, just sucking it up and going, because I think everyone just freaked out and bought a lot of tickets, or they bought tickets through the warehouse, and the warehouse downgraded them to the, you couldn't opt out of the upper level. So they wanted lowers, they chose pit floor, and they got uppers. And they're trying to get rid of these tickets, and that's their prerogative. But there's not a lot of biters, especially when, again, you go to Columbus, you're not buying an upper level seat for face value. You go and StubHub, it's below face. And that's just because, again, the market, it's Ohio. I mean, they have fans that show up to Blossom and the other one out there, because it's Cincinnati and Cleveland. Blossom, and I think that's in Cuyahoga County. And Riverbend. That's Cincy, right over by the Ohio River. Yeah. So you have those, but that's summertime. And in the wintertime, cold Columbus. I mean, look at the storms coming through the Midwest. Prayers for everyone out there. Midwest is getting these 2 nights of storms. People aren't going to want to travel, and it's a Tuesday show. So I really want to know how things fare for people. And comment if you're having trouble selling, if you have bought tickets from a fan, or you're looking at StubHub, or you're looking at Ticketmaster drops. Some fans got some face value seats for Madison Square Garden and some other venues over this weekend, that they were platinum seats that they kind of put down to that regular price, the regular face value price of $115 versus what they had them at $200-300 for pit tickets to MSG. Come on. That's just, and MSG is even more, it's more realistic to price it like that. But for some of the other venues where they have $300 platinum pit tickets, you're wilding. And that's why the pit hasn't sold out for some of these shows. This was all over the place, but thank you guys who comment and support. I really appreciate the support. Again, ConcertViz34 on Twitter, ConcertViz34 on Instagram, YouTube, as you're watching my videos, ConcertViz34. I will be having a lot more non-DNB stuff here, some Rush, some Maxwell, and hopefully some other stuff if I have some time to research some other music just to talk about it. But thank you guys for supporting. This is it. I'm almost at 20 minutes. Good Lord. Thank you guys for supporting me. I know I'm long-winded, but that's it. It's your boy ConcertViz34. I'm out.